Today we've got a really special build and it's going to be in this BITFENIX PRODIGY M 2022. This is one of the smallest micro ATX cases that you can find in the market today. It takes micro ATX motherboards and ITX motherboards, and it takes your full ATX power supply. As we all know, if you're looking to build a small form factor PC build, things can get pretty expensive as the ITX motherboard and the SFF power supplies are pretty damn expensive. What I really like about this case is that it comes with a vertical bracket for your GPU mount. It comes with a few accessories like all the cases, but it comes with this glass panel which can be put on top of the case, replacing this mesh filter if you're not installing a radiator or fans at the top. And now let's talk about what's going to go inside this case. Starting off with the motherboard, we've got an ASUS B550M-A Wi-Fi 2, which is the perfect choice for a Ryzen 5 5600G. We're going with this motherboard because even though the Ryzen 5 5600G is only PCIe Gen 3, in case we wanted to upgrade the CPU in the future, we were able to do that with this B550 motherboard. This motherboard also has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which is really handy. And for the RAM, we're going with 16 gigs of DDR4, 3600 MHz, CL18. For our NVMe drive, we've got a Western Digital 500 GB. For the power supply, this PK500D rated at 80 plus bronze is going to be enough to power everything in this build. Now let's go ahead and get this build going. There are two ways of installing the power supply in this case. So here is the power supply bracket. I'll show you. Right here it has one screw. If you take the screw off, half of the bracket will come off and you can mount the power supply to this bracket and put it back here. But if your graphics card is too long, what you can do is you can remove this bracket completely. And in the manual it shows you can mount the power supply directly to the chassis, so that'll shorten the height for the power supply. That way you can clear a longer GPU in this case, because the motherboard is actually mounted upside down in this PC, so that's why you can mount a long graphics card up top and move the power supply down for your needs. So it's a little tricky to remove this screw for the power supply bracket because you can't really put the screwdriver straight, it goes on an angle. So I'm gonna use pliers to open that up, but I'm gonna put tissue paper on top of that screw so I don't damage it. There we go. We got the tissue paper on there. Got a good grip, and now we're gonna twist it anti-clockwise to break it loose, and we have broken it loose. And now I can finish the job off with my finger. And just like that, we got the screw off for the power supply bracket. And our bracket comes off, kind of. We've got the power supply plug stuck in there. I'm gonna remove that first. There we go. And now the bracket can come off. And this is where the power supply is going to go. And I'll show you what I mean just in a second. And we're going to be using the screws that came with power supplies to mount it. How I'm going to mount this power supply is by facing the fan of the power supply outwards towards the grill. So it's going to sit in the bracket something like this. So the bracket just slides on, and we're going to screw it down with 4 screws in 4 corners. And the hole stays over here so we can screw the bracket once we're done installing it, and these 2 teeth will go in first. We're mounting the power supply this way because I want it to suck in fresh air from the front mesh grill. And this case does have a filter in the front mesh grill, by the way. We actually can plug this connector in afterward, I just realized. So we'll do that after we seat the power supply down first. So I'm just gonna move the wire down. Here we go. Here comes our power supply. And right here, you can see 2 little tabs are in. And now we just need to secure it down with the 1 screw that we took off earlier with the pliers. And this time we're just gonna hand tighten it. We don't need pliers again. There we go. Power supply is securely mounted. And now we can plug it in from underneath. After 5 minutes of fiddling around with the cable and trying to plug it in, this is how it's actually gonna plug in. So I thought it would be able to plug in all nice and hidden, all in this little section, but I was wrong. Instead, I have to plug it in like this. And it does have a long connector, so it's able to go in all the way. And it's gonna stick out a little bit at the bottom like that. I'm just gonna have to live with that because once we turn it up the right way, you're not able to see the power cable. But yeah, it will look like that. And now we're going to install the processor onto the motherboard as well as the RAM and the NVMe drive. Instead of using the stock Raid Stealth cooler that it came with, we are going to be using a different cooler. So this is the stock cooler, and it does have thermal paste pre-applied. Instead, we're going to be using the DEEPCOOL GAMMAXX series AG400 white ARGB. Since we're installing this cooler onto an AM4 platform, we only need the top bracket, the orange hardware, along with the screws. We are going to be taking off these factory plastic supports that it comes with, but we are going to be retaining the back plate. And now we're gonna install these standoff onto the stock back plate. We did not take it off, we just left it there. So we're just gonna press these on. Maybe it goes on the other way. There you go. Now that we have all 4 standoffs on, we can install the top plate, which kind of just goes on top like that. And we will secure it down with the screws that it comes with. Just gonna put 2 screws in so it doesn't move around. Now we can install the rest. And I'm gonna tighten it a little bit more with a screwdriver. And now the mount is on for the cooler, but we're not going to install the cooler yet. We're going to install the RAM and the NVMe drive and put the motherboard into the case first, and then we will hook up all the cables and install the cooler at the very end. There we go. Now the NVMe drive is installed. We can move on to installing the RAM. And whenever you're installing 2 sticks of RAM, you always want to install in the 2nd and the 4th slot. Here's the RAM that we're going to be using. And now this motherboard is completely ready to go inside its new home. You might think why I'm installing the IO shield upside down. That's because the motherboard in this case goes upside down. Come on, buddy. There we go. All 4 corners in. And before we install the motherboard in this case, we're going to install a couple more fans, because this case only comes with 2 fans, and one of them is only a 60mm fan up here, right on top of the power supply. And that's only a 60mm, which blows air onto the GPU. And the other fan is the 120mm down here. So it has 2 intake fans, but no exhaust. So we're going to change that. We're going to be installing 4 of these DEEPCOOL RF 120mm RGB fans. 2 fans at the top as exhaust and 2 fans at the bottom as an intake. And this is the stock 120mm fan. We're going to be putting this aside for now. And let's also remove the top mesh grill, because we need to screw the fans down from the top as well. It's going to go like this. It's going to suck air from the bottom, and it does have a filter at the bottom, so that's perfect. I don't know how I'm gonna screw the other 2 screws because they're underneath this bracket. So I might have to remove this just to screw the fans down. Now I'm going to remove the bottom plastic cover just so I can put 2 screws for this fan right here. There's 2 screws right here and 2 on the other end that we have to remove. And then the plastic piece should come right off. Let's see how hard it is to take off. We have to flip the PC upside down just to take that off. Don't want to break it. Okay, luckily I didn't break it while trying to take it off because I was doing it completely wrong. All I gotta do is just slide it back and it comes off. There we go. We got one of the sides off and slide it back a little bit. So it has tabs that only go in one direction, so that's why you have to slide it off and take it up. Luckily I didn't break it, I'm so happy. And now we can finally finish off putting the screws for the fan that weren't accessible with that plastic piece in the way. And it should go on the same way we took it off. Here we go. You'll hear it snap back into its place. All 4 holes are lined up, and now we can put the screws back in. And do it for the other side. You'll know when to stop. Do not over tighten it. And now that we have the bottom intake fans in its place, we can go ahead and install the top exhaust fans. It should look something like this. And for this one, we do not have to remove this because fans are in the middle, not in an offset where the screws are hidden by this. So that's good. And now we have all 4 fans in its place. We've got the bottom intake fans right here. And we've got the top exhaust. We're not going to be installing the mesh filters just yet because I don't want to damage them in the process of installing the motherboard. So let's go ahead and install the motherboard in the CPU case now. I might need to route the CPU power cable before I put the motherboard in because this is a super tight fit. So there we go. We've got the CPU 8-pin connector. I want this cable installed before because it's a really tight fit. There's no way I can route the cable afterwards. There's only a millimeter's worth of difference. Dude, no way it fits. There we go. Oh my god. This is such a tight fit, as you can see. There's literally no space around the motherboard. Wow. That was a mission. Now we can finally go ahead and screw it down. And yeah, we can put the cooler in and we're pretty much done with this build. This is what our PC looks like right now. We're pretty much done with it. All we gotta do is some cable management at the back, route the cables for the fans, hook up the fan hub. We gotta install the cooler still. Of course, route the cables for this panel as well, which has our USB and the power button and reset. And audio. I just got finished with the cable management for the RGB cables and the fan hub cables, and this is what it turned out to be. I think it looks pretty good in my opinion. And this is what the other side looks like. Pretty simple, pretty empty. And now we can actually close one of the side panels and route the cable for the side panel and get that going. And once that's in, we can finally go ahead and install the cooler. Now I'm just gonna hook up these cables, make sure it looks pretty, and then we can move on to installing the cooler. And for the cooler, I'm gonna have the fan on this side of the case because I don't want it to draw any air from this area if I mount it this way, because then there's a risk it might draw unfiltered air through this area. Having the cooler face this way will make sure it's always drawing filtered air that's coming in through the bottom. We're going to be using some Corsair TM30 thermal paste. What's nice about this cooler is that you don't have to take off the fan in order to tie it down. There is no clearance issues with the screws at all, even with the fan being there in its place. So that's really neat. Screw it down all the way until it stops. And then stop. Do not over tighten it. You'll know when to stop. And now I'm gonna go hook up the cable for the fan and the RGB, and I'll be back. This PC build now is officially complete. As you can see, all the cables are hooked up. The cooler is installed. I think this build turned out to be pretty gorgeous, and I love how small it is. And now this PC is ready for its first boot up. So our PC build took a little turn. I came across this RX 5700 locally, and I found it at a really good deal. So I picked it up, and we're actually going to throw this in the PC. And I think it's going to be a perfect combo for that 5600G. I know it has integrated graphics, but I think gaming with this RX 5700 is going to be a game changer. We have built the system and installed Windows on it, and let me tell you what settings I've done inside the BIOS. Of course, we have enabled the D.O.C.P, which is known as XMP for Intel systems, but this is an AMD, so we have enabled that. We have a 3600 megahertz RAM, so we have chosen that profile. So that was step one. Step two was enabling the resize bar. This is the AMD Smart Access Memory, so we have enabled that. That was the second step. And let me show you what else I've done in terms of some RAM and CPU tweaking. So inside the AI tweaker, I've actually overclocked my RAM to 4000 megahertz, and I haven't touched anything else. I wouldn't really recommend doing this. This was just an experiment, but it worked out pretty good for me. So after that, the second thing would be inside Precision Boost Overdrive. I have enabled Precision Boost Overdrive, and I've set the max CPU boost clock override to 200. I do have an aftermarket cooler, as you saw earlier. And inside the curve optimizer, I have selected this to all cores. All core curve optimizer sign is set to negative. All core curve optimizer magnitude is 30, so this is negative 30. This is what it looks like. And these are all the settings that I've done. I did not change anything else. And just to verify what I have, I'm gonna just click on Load Optimized Defaults. And we're gonna save changes and reset. And here you can see all the settings that I have currently. If I do this, these will get reset to stock. So I'm not gonna do that, but I'll show you the list. of all the settings that I have. And now we're going to test how this system performs with some benchmarking and some gameplay.
fuck's sake!
I don't have a visual on the guy.
What can the best mechanic in LS do for you? Better than new.
reporting MDB on Big City Avenue.
Yep.
green light. You're going to the war zone. Grab your gear and shoot. You're up in 3. Rules of engagement are simple. Weapons free on all threats.
Let's roll.
Resurgence. Stay alive to keep your squad in the fight. Occupation scan. Get on the ground or go underwater to avoid detection. Enemy surveillance is up. Enemy surveillance spotted you. Expect contact. Enemies located. Be advised, enemy surveillance. You're losing ground. Move it. Loadout drop headed your way. Some of your squad's outside the safe zone.
There you are. We got the green light. You're going to the war zone. Grab your gear and shoot. You're up in 3. Enemy activity will be high. Expect contact early and often.
I'll see you on the other side. Resurgence. Survive and your team can redeploy. Eliminate targets to bring them back faster. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. You're back on station. Go get after it. Your squad mates redeploying. Well done.
Temps.
Supply boxes marked. Secure those locations.
Moving here! Enemy movement.
Alright, your squad's in the safe zone.
Copy. I need mid-caliber rounds!
Enemy soldier incoming. You got a loadout drop inbound. You got reinforcements inbound. Your squad mates redeploying. Well done. Attack map. Go get hunting. We are returning you to the front. Earn this.
Here we are. Head shed gave the green light. We're deploying you to the front lines. Gear up, grab your chutes. You are cleared hot on all threats. Watch your ass down there.
Let's roll. Resurgence. Survive and your team can redeploy. Eliminate targets to bring them back faster.
Moving to my mark.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Your squad mates redeploying. Well done.
Enemy sniper!
You got reinforcements inbound.
Taking effective fire!
gas. Make it count.
Enemy movement in the AO.
Gas is moving. Your squad mate's back on station. Good work.
Enemy movement.
Reinforcements inbound. Loadout drop headed your way. Enemy soldier incoming. Squad mates back on station. Good work.
Hostile located. Moving.
Get ready. You're redeploying.
Moving.
Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone. Fire sale active. Buy-station prices have been reduced. Mark the remaining operators from that squad. Hunt them down. Advised.
I'm
Enemies
hit!
deploy to buy station.
I need medical. I got you.
25 are still active in the AO.
I saw the light there. Enemy movement in. Cancel my last